Hello everyone, I am Muhammad Kamran Halil from YouTube channel The Physics Gurus. So today I will cover all the definition related with the O-level physics. So which will be very helpful if you want to thoroughly revise the definitions. So from topic number 1, physical quantities, units and measurements. So the definitions are related with the number 1, he is saying that define the term scalar and vector. So unit number 1 scalars. So the quantities which are described by magnitude only. So for example, if I will say 2 meter, so this is the distance, this is a scalar quantity. Number 2, vector. The quantities which are having magnitude and a particular direction. The quantities having magnitude and direction. Certainly the unit is required in both. For example, 25 Newton force in east direction or in a straight line, there is also a particular direction. The next definition. Now from topic number 2, what is meant by speed? Then what is meant by velocity? So for speed, unit number 2, so I will write it down. Unit number 2. So speed is rate of change of distance. Rate of change of distance, or distance per unit time is also called as speed. So velocity is rate of change of displacement. Rate of change of displacement. Okay, then the next one. After that, what is meant by uniform acceleration? So now the definition related with the uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration. When velocity changes equally, when velocity changes equally in equal interval of time, in equal interval of time, then the simple definition of the acceleration is acceleration. The rate of change of velocity. It is called as acceleration. The next one, this is done. Calculate the area under, these are not the definition. Okay. Now for topic number 3, dynamics. State Newton's third law of motion. So unit number 3. Unit number 3. Unit number 3. So Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law of motion. It says every action has a reaction. Every action has a reaction. Same in magnitude. Same in magnitude. But opposite in direction. Opposite in direction. So that is the first definition related with the topic 3, dynamics, forces. Okay, explain the friction. Now from here the two other definitions asked in the paper, that what are the balanced and unbalanced forces, and then what is meant by friction. So balanced forces are those forces which have a resultant force equal to 0. A resultant force equal to 0. So in other words, the balanced force are those forces that if we will talk about the three forces, and then the effect of all those three forces will be represented by the one force, that will be the resultant force, and the balanced force are those forces in which the resultant force will be 0, and unbalanced forces are those forces in which the resultant force is not equal to 0. So unbalanced force is that force which do not have a resultant force equal to 0. A resultant force equal to 0. Then the definition of the friction. What is meant by friction? So friction is a force. Friction is a force which oppose the motion of an object. Which oppose motion of an object. Okay, after that, then the definition is towards the next topic, mass, weight and density. So the definition of the mass is already written here. You can underline this, that mass is the measure of amount of substance in a body. Then the definition of the inertia. This is the definition of the inertia. Whenever there is a reluctance to the motion of an object in its state of rest or motion, then that is called as the inertia. So inertia is the reluctance to the movement of an object in its state of rest or motion. Now the gravitational field. The definition of the gravitational field, that it is a region in which a mass will experience a force due to gravitational attraction. So this definition is also required to learn. Then the other one is the definition of the gravitational field strength. The definition is that G that is equal to W over M, or force over mass. So force acting per unit mass. Force acting per unit mass. Force acting per unit mass is called gravitational field strength. The definition of the density. The density is the mass per unit volume. That is called as the density. So these are the definitions related with this topic. Then move towards the next one. Turning effect of forces. The moment. Now we will define the moment. So moment is defined as the product of the force and perpendicular distance from the pivot. That is called as the moment. The principle of moment. Now for the principle of moment, that the definition will be, I am going to write down the principle of moment. So principle of moment. Principle of moment. The principle of moment says that the sum of clockwise moment is equal to the sum of anti-clockwise moment. The sum of clockwise moment is equal to sum of anti-clockwise moment and system will be in equilibrium. Okay, the next one, the definition is the center of gravity. The center of gravity is a point where the whole weight of an object acts in downward direction. The next definition is center of gravity. The point at which the whole weight of an object acts in downward direction. Okay, next unit is a unit related with the deformation. So there is one definition which has been asked in the past paper. what is meant by limit of proportionality? So that is the point till which limit of proportionality. Now the definition related with the limit of proportionality. Okay, then what is meant by extension? Extension, first we will write down the extension. It is unit number 6. So unit number 6, extension. The difference between stretched length, stretched length and unstretched length and unstretched length. Then the next one is the limit of proportionality, the point till which the load and extension are directly proportional to each other. Now the definition related with the pressure. So here is the definition of the pressure. The force acting per unit area is called as the pressure. Then the next one definition in the pressure is okay, there is only one definition related with this topic. The pressure is the force acting per unit area. Now move towards the next topic, the energy. Energy is the ability of an object to do work is called energy. So for the definition of energy, energy, ability of an object, ability of an object to do work, that is called as energy. After that, state the principle of conservation of energy. So that principle says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be converted from one form to an other form. So you can write it down for the principle of conservation of energy, that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be converted from one form to the other form, and the total energy of the system will remain same. And after that, kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is energy associated with the movement of an object. Potential energy, the energy associated with the change in position, is called as the potential energy. So then after that, the definition, define work. Now this is the definition of the work done. The work done is defined as the product of the force and the distance moved in the direction of applied force. That is called as the work done. So definition of the work done is the product of the force and distance traveled in the direction of applied force. Then the definition of the efficiency. So efficiency is that it is the ratio of the useful output. It may be power, it may be work done, it may be energy, to the total input, energy, power or work done. So that is the definition of the efficiency. Then the next one is the power. The last definition related with this. So power is the rate of work done, or work done per unit time is called as the power. So move towards the next topic. So conduction. the transfer of heat energy, in which heat energy will transfer without visible movement of the particles. So for conduction, the transfer of energy, the transfer of energy without visible movement of the particles. Movement of particles. Then the definition of the convection. The transfer of heat energy due to actual movement of the particles. The transfer of heat energy due to actual movement of particles. Then radiation. The transfer of energy without any medium in form of infrared waves. The transfer of heat energy without medium in form of infrared waves. Okay, now the next definition. Temperature. Now there are so many definitions related with this topic. So what is meant by ice point? What is meant by steam point? Sensitivity, range, linear scale, then responsiveness of a thermometer. So now I will write down all these definitions. It is related with the topic number 10. So topic 10, temperature. So actually the temperature is the average kinetic energy of the particles. The range of thermometer. Range. The difference between maximum and minimum temperature. Then responsiveness. How quickly the thermometer will register temperature. After that, the definition is the sensitivity. The capability of a thermometer. The capability of a thermometer to register a very small change in temperature. So now these are the 10 topics from the syllabus. So now I will continue the other topics in the other video. So stay tuned. I will share the link of that video in the description as well. Have a nice time and good luck for the upcoming papers. So subscribe my channel, share it with the others and learn from this channel. Take care.